Real leaders must be ready to sacrifice all for the freedom of their people. A fundamental concern for others in our individual and community lives would go a long way in making the world the better place we so passionately dreamt of. Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Everyone can rise above their circumstances and achieve success if they are dedicated to and passionate about what they do. I like friends who have independent minds because they tend to make you see problems from all angles. It always seems impossible until it's done. Many people in this country have paid the price before me, and many will pay the price after me. Do not judge me by my successes, judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. Money won't create success, the freedom to make it will. It is in the character of growth that we should learn from both pleasant and unpleasant experiences. When a man is denied the right to live the life he believes in, he has no choice but to become an outlaw. A good head and good heart are always a formidable combination. But when you add to that a literate tongue or pen, then you have something very special. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. There is nothing like returning to a place that remains unchanged to find the ways in which you yourself have altered. As I walked out the door toward the gate that would lead to my freedom, I knew if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I'd still be in prison. Led from the back, and let others believe they're in front. I am not a saint, unless you think of a saint as a sinner who keeps on trying. There is no passion to be found playing small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. If you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart. As I have said, the first thing is to be honest with yourself. You can never have an impact on society if you have not changed yourself. Great peacemakers are all people of integrity, of honesty, but humility. Overcoming poverty is not a task of charity, it is an act of justice. Like slavery and apartheid, poverty is not natural. It is man-made, and it can be overcome and eradicated by the actions of human beings. Sometimes it falls on a generation to be great. You can be that great generation. Let your greatness blossom. A leader is like a shepherd. He stays behind the flock, letting the most nimble go out ahead, whereupon the others follow, not realizing that all along they are being directed from behind. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. It is said that no one truly knows a nation until one has been inside its jails. A nation should not be judged by how it treats its highest citizens, but its lowest ones. May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears. I am the captain of my soul. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. Where you stand depends on where you sit. One of the things I learned when I was negotiating was that until I changed myself, I could not change others. Appearances matter, and remember to smile. After climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is inspiring others to move beyond it. During my lifetime, I have dedicated myself to this struggle of the African people. I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal which I hope to live for and to achieve. But if needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die. Live life as though nobody is watching, and express yourself as though everyone is listening. You will achieve more in this world through acts of mercy than you will through acts of retribution. One cannot be prepared for something while secretly believing it will not happen. And, as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. We know too well that our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of the Palestinians. I had no epiphany, no singular revelation, no moment of truth, but a steady accumulation of 1,000 slights, 1,000 indignities, and 1,000 unremembered moments produced in me anger, a rebelliousness, a desire to fight the system that imprisoned my people. There was no particular day on which I said, henceforth I will devote myself to the liberation of my people. Instead, I simply found myself doing so, and could not do otherwise. Nothing is black or white. In my country, we go to prison first and then become president. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead. Freedom is indivisible. The chains on any one of my people were the chains on all of them. The chains on all of my people were the chains on me. There can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children. It is not where you start but how high you aim that matters for success. Know your enemy, and learn about his favorite sport. I am not an optimist, but a great believer of hope. There is no easy walk to freedom anywhere, and many of us will have to pass through the valley of the shadow of death again and again before we reach the mountaintop of our desires. Sometimes, it falls upon a generation to be great. You can be that generation. Without language, one cannot talk to people and understand them. One cannot share their hopes and aspirations, grasp their history, appreciate their poetry, or savor their songs. Let there be justice for all. Let there be peace for all. Let there be work, bread, water, and salt for all. Let each know that for each the body, the mind, and the soul have been freed to fulfill themselves. Your playing small does not serve the world. Who are you not to be great? Quitting is leading too. I am the master of my fate and the captain of my destiny. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love, for love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden but never extinguished. There is a universal respect and even admiration for those who are humble and simple by nature, and who have absolute confidence in all human beings irrespective of their social status. It is what we make out of what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from another. We must use time creatively, and forever realize that the time is always ripe to do right. I have never cared very much for personal prizes. A person does not become a freedom fighter in the hope of winning awards. Your victory has demonstrated that no person anywhere in the world should not dare to dream of wanting to change the world for a better place. It was a useful reminder that all men, even the most seemingly cold-blooded, have a core of decency, and that if their heart is touched, they are capable of changing. As a leader, one must sometimes take actions that are unpopular, or whose results will not be known for years to come. If you want to make peace with your enemy, you have to work with your enemy. Then he becomes your partner. Like the gardener, a leader must take responsibility for what he cultivates. He must mind his work, try to repel enemies, preserve what can be preserved, and eliminate what cannot succeed. Resentment is a method of self-harm. As I walked out the door toward the gate that would lead to my freedom, I knew if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I'd still be in prison. Fools multiply when wise men are silent. We forgive but not forgotten. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. He knew when to compromise. Yet he never compromised his principles. He was a militant. yet a militant who knew how to plan, assess concrete situations, and emerge with rational solutions to problems. Although I am a gregarious person, I love solitude even more. I realized that they could take everything from me except my mind and my heart. They could not take those things. Those things I still had control over, and I decided not to give them away. There is no such thing as part freedom. It is most unusual to return to a place that has changed in ways you yourself have altered. Having resentment against someone is like drinking poison and thinking it will kill your enemy.